Hey guys, welcome to the show. Today we have Tiny Tim's debut album, God Bless Tiny Tim, from 1968 on Reprise Records. This is side 1, track 3, Living in the Sunlight, Loving in the Moonlight. I know you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but I actually really like this song. I do. It's one of the best on the album. I think it really showcases his talent not only as a comedian, but as a musician and singer. And I really like how he made the song his own. I mean, if you don't believe me, listen to Bing Crosby's version from the 30s, and I think it'll be very clear. And the other thing is, they use this song in the pilot episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. I knew there was a reason I love that sponge. It's just so much fun. I like just what I like and how I love it. I'm having visions of SpongeBob dancing in my head. Gary, meow. Hey, SpongeBob. SpongeBob. We're gonna move on to side 2 now. This is track 4, The Coming Home Party. So side 2 opens with Tim laughing for about 30 seconds. And it feels like a really creepy 15 minutes. I'm telling you, man, it escalates from like, oh, that's funny, to him getting out there, to him downright scary clown laugh. In fact, all throughout this album, Tim either introduces the next song or does some sort of nonsensical thing between each song, and it just cracks me up, man. I mean, people back then must have been tripping balls on this record. They probably took a tab, were like, dude, you gotta listen to this, man. This is 1968, 69, man. That was the height of the hippies. I'm telling you, this was their soundtrack. Maybe not quite, but they probably teenagers, probably kids who related to Shaggy on a Scooby-Doo. They probably were like, dude, you gotta check out Tiny Tim and take a hit of this. Tim's given name was Herbert Buckingham Kahari? I think that's how you say his name, please forgive me. He was born in 1932 in Manhattan, and he knew right from the get-go that he wanted to be a singer. So he spent most of his childhood learning guitar and ukulele, and by his early 20s, he was hitting the New York nightclub scene. And it was around this time that he started to develop his signature falsetto style of singing. And after about 10 years of this, he started to gain quite the following in the Greenwich Village music scene. All right, we're gonna move on to track 3. This is Daddy, Daddy, What Is Heaven Like? Just listen. Just listen for a bit. What is heaven like? This song is insane. It's as insane as Tiny Tim is, and he didn't even write this. Basically, it's about a boy asking his dad what heaven is like after his mom passed away. And the crazy thing is, he sings the boy in that very signature falsetto style, and then he sings the dad part in this pseudo Elvis voice. It's bizarre. I don't even know what to think of it. So enjoy. On everyone's face, Mommy loved us both, but she had to go. I want to say it's wrong. It's almost like a children's lullaby with a very demented twist to it. And Elvis is there. So it's like a bad dream. This song is a bad dream. So Tim became a star in 1968 with his appearance in the film You Are What You Eat. And after that, he just hit all the talk shows. He was on The Tonight Show, The Jackie Gleason Show, even The Ed Sullivan Show. And this album came out of that success. And I'm convinced that if he was around today, he would be a huge internet sensation, maybe even bigger than Chocolate Rain. I'm just gonna throw that out there. You can disagree with me, but discuss in the comment section below. We're gonna move on to track 6 with his cover of I Got You, Babe. Yeah, I think it's funny that he introduces this song as a duet, but really it's just him singing both Sonny and Cher's parts. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's funny the first time you hear it, but I am convinced that if Bill Murray heard this version every day in Groundhog Day, that movie would have been over by the second day. They say our love won't pay the rent before it's earned, our money's always spent. Well, I don't know. It is crazy what you can dig up on the internet. I found FBI files on Tiny Tim. Yeah, see what happened was back in the 60s, the FBI was trying to find any and all leads between Frank Sinatra and the mob. And because Tiny Tim was on Reprise Records, which was founded by Frank Sinatra, they looked into his background to see if they could use him to get more information about Frank Sinatra. Anyhow, basically, they didn't find any ties between them, but it's just crazy to think about. Like, they were researching Tiny Tim, and it makes me wonder if I have a file by the maybe I should watch what I say in these things. Yeah, Tiny Tim, great guy. Go America. We're gonna flip back over to side 1. We're going to end with his most famous tune, Tiptoe Through the Tulips with Me. In 1969, Tim married his then 17-year-old girlfriend on The Tonight Show. And they had one daughter, and they named her Tulip, which I think is a darling name, although in this instance, it's kind of weird. They divorced in 1977, and Tim later remarried twice. As quickly as Tim rose to fame, his popularity waned by the early 1970s. He continued to perform, however, until his death in 1996. He suffered a heart attack while singing this song. So this has been God Bless Tiny Tim. Overall, this is a novelty album. I gotta be honest with you guys. I'll put it this way. If you're a fan of late 60s music, or if you're into psychedelic era type music, or basically into comic albums, this is right up your alley. For everyone else, pass on it. Seriously. Just sleep better knowing that you know who Tiny Tim was. Hell, you might even win a trivia contest because of me. You're welcome. But in all seriousness, folks, I have to acknowledge the fact that despite Tim growing up with people telling him you'll never amount to anything, he still followed his dream and he worked hard, and you know what? He succeeded and he died doing what he loved. And I think as a performer, there's no better life than that. So this one's going out to you, Tiny Tim. I am your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Oh yeah, I got one of these too.
Showers away, and if I kiss you in the garden, in the moonlight, will you pardon me and tiptoe through the tulips with me?
Tim became a star in 1968 with a giant balloon. It was huge, and he climbed in it, and he landed on the Empire State Building. It's amazing. I'm surprised you guys haven't heard of that story. It was famous. Those crazy 60s.